In the deepest part of the furthest ocean stood the castle of the Sea King. He had 6 beautiful daughters, but Ariel, the youngest mermaid, was the loveliest of all. When a mermaid would turn 15, she was permitted to swim to the surface to see the world above. Nothing made the mermaids happier than hearing their grandmother tell everything about the world above. Every year, when the sisters became old enough, each of them visited the surface. There was only Ariel, who was patiently waiting for her turn.
I wish I could live on the land and play with human beings someday. Grandma, what do human beings look like?
Can we invite them to visit us? Oh, in my opinion, they aren't as beautiful as us. Their legs are very inconvenient.
Yes, they have to replace several pairs of shoes every year. It's really costly.
On her 15th birthday, Ariel rose up to the surface and saw a big sailing ship with many elegantly dressed people. The most handsome of them was a man who couldn't be more than 16 years old. It was the birthday of Prince Eric, whom Ariel couldn't take her eyes off. Suddenly, a terrible storm swept across the sea. The ship pitched and rolled and finally sank. Ariel swam swiftly to the prince, held his head above water, and let the waves toss them about.
Happy birthday, Prince Eric!
Oh, the guy on that ship looks so cool.
How could he be as handsome as me?
By morning, the storm had passed. Ariel took the prince to the shore. At that moment, the church bells rang and a group of young girls appeared. Being afraid of them, Ariel swam away behind a large rock. Ariel saw the prince awake again and smiling at the young girls. But he didn't smile with her, for he didn't even know that she had saved him. She sadly dived into the water, returning to her father's castle. Ariel missed the young prince so badly and felt unhappy because she couldn't live a human life.
Why is he here? Oh, where am I? Have you saved my life?
His ship must have sunk, and he must have been washed up on the beach by the waves. He looks so handsome.
Finally, the little mermaid couldn't bear it any longer. She decided to visit the sea witch, who sold her a potion that gave her legs in exchange for her tongue. The witch said, "I'll prepare a potion for you. When you drink it, your tail will shrink into a pair of legs. No dancer will tread as lightly as you, but every step you take, it will feel like you're walking on sharp knives. Once you become a human, you can never be a mermaid again. If the prince doesn't love you, you'll turn into foam the day after he marries someone else. This potion will give you a pair of legs, but I'll also take your voice. Do you agree?"
I would do anything to be with him.
Ariel swam to the shore, drinking the potion. A pain, worse than 1,000 sharp cuts, went through her, and she fainted on the sand. When she awoke, she saw the prince gazing down at her. Lowering her gaze, she saw that her fishtail was gone, and that she had a pair of long and graceful legs. The prince asked who she was, and where she came from. Her deep blue eyes looked at him tenderly, but very sadly, for she couldn't speak. Then he took her hand and led her into his palace.
Who are you, beautiful girl? Where are you from? Come with me to my palace if you don't have any place to go.
My name's Ariel. If only I could say it to him.
Everyone in the palace warmly welcomed Ariel and admired her beauty and grace. The prince was enchanted by her. He had a dress made for her so she could ride with him on horseback. As the days passed, Ariel loved the prince more and more. He loved her too, but he loved her as he would love a little sister. He could only love the maiden who saved him when his ship was wrecked.
Ariel, I fondly love the maiden who saved me the day when my ship was wrecked.
My goodness, he doesn't know that I saved his life.
One day, the prince introduced Ariel to a beautiful princess who he thought had saved his life. He said to the mermaid that he would marry the princess and that their wedding would soon be held. On the wedding day, the little mermaid, clad in silk and gold, held the bride's train. That night, she danced more beautifully than ever. She knew this was the last evening she would see the prince.
My beloved sister, this is the girl who saved my life. I'll marry her.
You look so beautiful.
I'll dissolve into the foam of the sea tomorrow.
Oh, where are you, naughty boy? How could you dare to steal my hair?
A hush then came over the ship. The little mermaid looked to the east, waiting for her death. Suddenly, she saw her sisters rise up among the waves. They were pale, and their long hair was cut off. It turned out that they gave the witch their hair in exchange for a special knife. If Ariel struck it into the prince's heart before the sun rose, her tail would return. They gave Ariel the knife and said, "Make haste! He or you must die before sunrise." Then they sank beneath the waves.
Ariel, kill him and come back to our castle.
Do I really have to kill him?
This is your only chance.
Ariel went to the room of the prince. She bent down and kissed his forehead. She looked at the sky, fast reddening for the break of day. She looked at the knife, which trembled in her hand. Then she threw it far away into the sea. She looked once more at the prince. Then she dove into the sea and felt her body dissolve into foam.
Oh my gosh, how can I kill him?
The sun rose up from the waters, and Ariel didn't feel the hand of death. She saw hundreds of transparent creatures dancing and singing. Ariel discovered that she was shaped like them, and that she was gradually rising up out of the foam and turning into a daughter of the air. If she did good deeds for 300 years, she could earn an immortal soul, like a human. Then she could fly to heaven and never dissolve into foam.
I didn't dissolve into the foam, did I? It's a miracle. We're the daughters of the air. We travel everywhere, doing good deeds to earn an immortal soul. From now on, you'll join us and become the daughter of the air.
The little mermaid flew to the ship, seeing the prince in search of her. She smiled at him, kissed the bride's forehead, then joined the other daughters of the air and flew away. A daughter of the air said, "Every day on which we find a good child who pleases his parents, God shortens our days of trial. 1 year is taken from our 300. But if we see a naughty, mischievous child, we must shed tears of sorrow, and each tear adds a day to the time of our trial." Then the daughters of the air and the little mermaid rose up to the sky. Kids, Ariel and the daughters of the air may be flying in your room right now. So you should help them shorten their days of trial by being a good child. Goodbye, and see you again.
Ariel, where are you? My goodness, could she fall into the sea?
Goodbye, I'm leaving. Let's go and look for good children.
Ariel, let me go with you, please. I want to become the crab of the air.